So I've been thinking about this whole issue with, the fact that, this divide and conquer strategy that I really think has taken off through the introduction of Facebook and the introduction of, YouTube and all other apps that have got, block or ban. Elon Musk is meant to have said that he's removing the block from X platform. It is really antisocial. Now, it got me thinking about this Graham Norton show when they use this lever. And he has someone sitting in a chair, right, talking about whatever they're talking about. And then whenever they just get bored of it or they've had enough, they just pull this lever and it basically ejects them, basically like blocking or banning them, just gets rid of them, basically. Now, he does it all in good fun, but the thing is, with this television, with the influence of television and so forth, if you think of it more as a darker, wider strategy, it's what is happening with YouTube now, even with Russell Brand and with, this Garland Nixon previously and George Galloway, and then more recently this Jackson Hinkle, even the Hill programme, even Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had a couple of videos taken in the Australian Parliament. Now, the whole, depending on what you think, the majority of the public, watch TV in Coronation Street. It glamorizes individuals and stars. It gets everyone to be sheep and follow them, go watch them. The whole model is an audience all sat quiet listening to a very few people, all sat facing the same direction, not really sat facing each other or talking to each other as if you went to a ball or a gala or a party or a festival when everyone's talking to each other. The whole congregation model, which basically gets all the nation, it attracts their attention, the attention of the nation. And there's a lot of people now, including Chris Packham for one, who think that it has been a distraction. Now, when everyone, is at work most of the day, 9 till 5, and the majority of the time, and then they come home, sit down tired and just flick the box on and listen to whatever, it doesn't leave them much free time in their life to focus the time that you're alive and living and breathing and you can do something in this world. It doesn't leave much time left, and then, even if you're doing things with your family, like playing football, or the rest of it's like, shopping, retail therapy, shopping, and people only go on holiday a few times. The amount of time you've got to be effective as a human in the larger scheme of things, like how the country should be run, what we should be doing, political things. It's no wonder that now over 50% of the public aren't turning out to vote for elections and voting. But they will switch on the box and watch all these programmes, and they will buy the product, go through the McDonald's, go through the drive-thrus. And it's more the fool to the greater public when you've got scientific evidence like on Russell Brand, with his guests on the scientists who are saying, like sperm counts drop 50%. You might as well have a sperm sat in that chair that Graham Norton's holding on to. He might as well have his own testicles. He might as well have his fly down, and he might as well have his own testicles out in that chair, and he might as well pull the lever on his own balls. He might as well pull the lever on his own testicles, because that's effectively what it is. And it's the attitude of the whole producers of these programs, the writers, the directors, all of the crew and staff. I'm all right, Jack culture. Their orchestra and symphony of humans is all about them. Yet they reckon, oh no, they're laughing though. They're laughing. They've turned up. They've come to the studio. They're having a laugh. They're laughing. Well, they're laughing while they're dying with all the cancer and diabetes increase. And the fact that such a minority of people end up electing these parties like Starmer, Sunak, the major parties, And now there are so many people actually not watching mainstream TV. You know, people watching Jeff Taylor channel or Neil Oliver or Brand or, you know, Joe Rogan or all the other millions of diverse channels like Redacted, you know, like Jimmy Dore, comedian, you know, across the spectrum who are actually really wanting, you know, are complaining about what's happening. It's not coincidence, everything that has happened with the forums and blocking and banning and all the control, and then Mark Zuckerberg doing Facebook and introducing all these things. I think Zuckerberg, part of him believes he's doing the right thing and he's trying to make, you know, a healthy society. But part of it, even he I don't think that he realizes the conditioning, and when it comes to political matters, how much divide it's created and intolerance. They've designed all these Facebook groups and they've conditioned us all now. You know, if you're in a golf group, you talk about golf. If you're in a tennis group, you talk about tennis. If you're in, you know, a gay bar, you talk about being gay. If you're in, you know, a running club, you talk about running. And really this intolerance for general talk. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, you should turn up to a squash club and talk about nothing but squash, but when you're playing squash actually in real life, you talk about when you're playing squash with a squash partner, you know, you talk about business or you talk about your family, you talk about whatever you want. You do talk about squash, but it's not so strict. The regimes of those groups, it really is a very... what they've got us all doing in this separate... It's almost like on Doctor Who when they've got everyone locked in those separate cells, you know. But even programmes like Doctor Who on the BBC that claim to... we acknowledge all these problems. We understand all these problems. We've got all these problems identified, and we're covering these subjects and topics in the programmes. And then the people who make those programmes will just go back off and do the game show again, or back off and, you know, be a celebrity again, or whatever they're doing. And it will be, you know, John Bishop, it'll just be back to fame and glory again. And it completely really makes the whole TV show kind of fake, and you kind of feel duped, you know. There's something not right about the whole thing. The capital that television has to broadcast to the nation. You know, Coronation Street, the theme every day, the same tune, the same theme. You know, we used to have a culture that didn't even write things down. It remembered things in songs, and all these people remembered thousands of songs for remembering different information, learning, telling the news, or, you know, not just for entertainment. And now when you turn Radio 1 on, or Radio 2, not that I listen to it anymore, it's always the same pop. Like, you know, they've got, you know, the status quo, the bunch of pop songs, you know, it's, you know, the Boy George song again, or, you know, status quo again, or whatever. And we have these, you know, a few hundred circulating songs that they're all playing that, you know them off by heart, but, you know, the same ones. When I think our memories used to have a more diverse number of, you know, songs to use the memory. You know, wanting to now scrap our driving skills, riding horses and canoes and carts over hundreds of thousands of years has helped form the psyche. It's helped form the mind, and, you know, looking at where you're going, seeing places out the window. It's part of how the human evolved from being, you know, primates and so forth. But Sunak, the more and more you use your calculators, the less and less your maths skills actually work yourself, because you're relying on the machine. Sunak's complaining that maths skills are going down, but it's to do with the machines. And as diet, people wearing glasses and spectacles and the increase of that is not the fact that people have always not had as good vision. A lot less people have good vision. If you look at the Chinese, a lot of them wear glasses in the frequency of them compared to people in England or Europe. And all those hormones that we've got, you know, when the eye focuses, the strength of the muscle is controlled by steroids and hormones, and your sperm count, overall sperm count, affect that. And your muscle has a strength to focus or not. And also the lens, the flexibility of the lens, how flexible it is, if it can flex full or relax. That's also controlled by all your different dietary omegas and vitamins and so forth. And that affects the eyes as well. A lot of people, the amount of people who have actually got a problem with their lens, the shape of it, that needs laser, is actually a lot less than if people actually had the proper hormones and the proper vitamins, the full diet. It would actually correct a lot of the vision and the need to wear glasses. The whole thing with the name of Google is very, very controversial. The more and more things that we've learned to do and evolved to do and is replaced by machines doing it, it actually makes it so you don't need to do it. Even with the AI in designing, if they end up putting us in these satellite-controlled cars, which just zoom you around and you're sat in a laptop and you don't even know where you are or where you're going or the landscape of your country or the geography of your country. You're not interested in where you've been born, the land that created you, the land that formed you, the land that made you who you are. There's nothing wrong with that, to get to know it and to get intimate with it. I just think that there's nothing wrong with computers and there's nothing wrong with tech, but it's got to a phase now where it is entrapment. They give you the phones, and then once you've signed up to it, then they update it, and you haven't got any option. You haven't got any option but to accept, consent, submit, and they make it so you've got to do that. We're introducing spyware, we're introducing Trojans, we're introducing all these malicious things. Then they say that you can customize your phones and make it to whatever size picture you want, but that's a lie, because I can't even put the date in big letters on the front of my phone. They've made it so there's no option to do that. When I want to leave a video, my controls are at the bottom. They remove those and made me go through stupid procedures to do it. They're actually changing us now. And the whole Graham Norton culture, Ant and Dec, they're all having a laugh at it and thinking it's funny and thinking it's just a laugh. It isn't actually just a laugh. It's actually quite serious. And the fact that Norton turns it all into a joke and comedy and, we're just having a laugh, we're just having a laugh. If the nation wasn't just having a laugh, I don't think we're having a laugh when you've got no testicles left. I don't think you're having a laugh when you've gone blind or when your memory's so bad that they've actually microchipped you. And then there's all this Andrew Bridgen debate in Parliament that the MPs are trying to evade. This Norton, the psychology behind Norton on this, whether he's privy to it or his brain cells aren't anywhere near it, this is making it a laugh and funny and okay to just cancel people. And I'm finding now, unlike when I'm, just buying a product or even paying for services or asking someone about services, you say something quite normal. You ask someone, how much something is. And I'm not talking about being abusive, swearing. At Royal Mail, if you go in there to collect parcels, it says, don't be abusive to the staff, don't swear at the staff. No one's swearing or being abusive, right? But it's gone beyond that now. It's gone beyond swearing and abusive. People are just pressing buttons and cancelling you because they just like this. What's happening here with Norton? You're just sick of them or can't be bothered with them. But in business, you're not supposed to do that in business. They wouldn't actually do it in person when you walked into somewhere. But they're just doing it on the internet. And you also don't know who's intervening from, third parties or hacking and so forth. I'm sending text messages at the moment and some of them aren't being sent and it's like a 38 error. The other person hasn't blocked me and it's only to certain numbers and there's something weird going on. It's like this 77th Brigade or Battalion being removing stuff from Facebook and YouTube, even when you've got political rights and it's supposed to be protected. The problem is, I don't know whether it's the Department of Culture, Media and Sport, whether it's, Prince Andrew, whether it's Charles, all these big gurus, these big players behind these shows, these hotshot directors and so forth. Unfortunately, they are all immersed and absorbed into that celebrity lifestyle, the culture and lifestyle of being worshipped, being adored by the nation, this household name and the power of it. is literally expressed in this lever here. But that's actually what this is making it okay. It's reinforcing. No, it's all right to do that. Just put it on someone. They haven't sworn at you. They haven't been abusive. Like, fuck them. I really wish someone, I wish someone could just shut these people down. Whether it's, through Parliament, making, some of these shows illegal. But, the police are going after people like Lawrence Fox, and he's encouraging people to take cameras down. But there's a whole social dynamic and social level, which is actually Starmer. He's meant to be a human rights lawyer. He's meant to be the head of the Labour Party. He's meant to be all for, anti-racism, human rights, discrimination. And shows like this are actually pushing the opposite. That it's anti-social. Almost like the bus station announcement. If anything makes you feel a slight bit uncomfortable, report them. That's not even a crime. That's just, they really, really want to divide us so we don't actually come together and talk and be social. And now it's getting worse. And those groups where, can't speak about this, can't speak about that. It's such a horrible culture to create and encourage, when you just could have people, hey man, how are you doing? You all right? What you've been up to? Just like free and easy and, whatever. But, Norton's so free and easy and whatever that he's so laid back that he's falling over with culture. He's all right. I'm all right, Jack. I'm all right, Jack. I'm Graham Norton. Look at Supermarket Sweep with Dale Winton. Somebody, whether it's in Parliament, Andrew Bridgen, we've got this, Bradshaw guy in Parliament. We need to stop these people. I think they're sociopaths, and they're trying to, some of them are dumb, and some of them are dumber than others, and some are just going along with it for a laugh, and they don't realise, they think, oh yeah, we're doing good for society, we're getting people answering questions on the game show, it's all good. It isn't. And there's a big counter movement happening now through independent stations and channels, and even they're, being shut down by YouTube when we're meant to have political rights, and there's a strong case for that. I really, I don't like celebrityism. I don't like excess socialism. There's something about greed and obesity and being overweight. Some people can't help it, but, it's not helping with the diet and the culture. There's something about being egotistically and socially overweight, overfed with attention and popularity, and the capital of the television and the studios, the amount of money they had put into them has made them social influencers that have an obesity of a social bubble obesity, a social congregational obesity. They're carrying a lot more weight than they should have, and it is unhealthy. They think it's great for everyone, but it's not actually great for it. It's almost like the rich. Being rich is all right for the rich, but it's not all right for the poor. Now, the thing with these shows is, in nature, the whole point of the Labour Party is that they're not Tories, they're not Conservatives, they don't like, they were meant to be opposed to the rich people. But what the whole television culture does is get them to go along with it. So whistle along to Coronation Street, sing along to Coronation Street, adore the stars and the characters, get your Gary Barlow's up there, your working class lads. It's selling Tory conservatism to the poor and getting them to like it and okay it and engage and follow it, pursue it, want to be that. And it's a way of controlling and infiltrating the Labour class. And it's succeeded. It has succeeded. And it has messed up society, I think. When, the whole, George Galloway is not short of, being a celebrity, but there's some part of him that has this belief system in family values and morals, and not like was all these shows have been getting looser and looser and looser and looser, loosening up, to Channel 4 Naked in the Nude programs, Love Island, loosening it up, but all that time the government have been putting more and more and more discrimination laws, and you can't say this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. But where they claim that they're going more laid back, more free and easy, easy for this, easy for that, yeah, whatever this, whatever. But it's not whatever for that. When someone actually doesn't do anything wrong and they don't swear or abuse anyone, and then they just get this lever pulled on them, which is now happening on the internet, and it's actually encouraging it, And as far as the police, if the police say, well, there's no actual offence there or whatever, but there's an offence with Rees-Mogg. He's not even supposed to be on GB News, and there's actually broken the law of Rees-Mogg, because I've looked at the legislation. It's actually illegal, because they're actually, by design, they've designed it to have multiple political parties pushing their views on there, and that's illegal. Doesn't matter whether it's a news programme or not. It's actually a fact of who they are and what they're pushing, not what type of programme it is. And the subjects what they dip into and out of at all times of year. So, that I don't like it, and if that's going to have me, I used to actually go out a lot and socialise until all these things happened with the investigation, and they took my driving licence off me, they took my life off me. I couldn't actually go and socialise anymore. They take everything away from you, and then they wind you up on telly. Then they mock you, and if you want to be a minion and clap in the audience and laugh along with it, then that's okay. But there's a hell of a lot of people in this country who don't think it's funny. They don't think Norton's entertaining. They don't worship celebrities, bow down and seek millions or billions. They just want to lead a relatively normal, happy life and have friends and socialise. And these people are stealing it. They actually steal people. These people steal your friends. They steal the attention of the population. They steal your money. And they're obese. They're socially obese. And, all the money that these TV stations are in excess, everyone could have, it could be shared out between other people doing things. I don't like it. I would like to see it shut down. Mogg, Starmer by name, Starmer by nature. Starmer's head's in the clouds. He's got Tracy Brabin as his champion cheerleader and the mayor of West Yorkshire. All the women voted her in, Corrie stars. They're thriving on worship. Stars, worship, social order. This is basically what Keir Starmer did to Jeremy Corbyn, pull this lever. It's what Charles did, with the army to Jeremy Corbyn when they was using him for target practice. It's what they did to even Stepford mods, even Jason Williamson, who's meant to be a cultural, music artist icon, even he had the lever pulled on him by the Labour Party. Andrew Bridgen MP, he's been put on the naughty step, put in like a room with no windows at the far end of Parliament, just because he's been removed from his party. When he had that room because he was an MP, not because he was in a specific party or not. Same with me here. Since my investigation, there's all kinds of things being done to us through the council and other things. There's too many things to name, being cancelled or whatever. So I don't advocate mainstream television. I really, really would like to see it fail. And whether that's through people waking up, through popularity, through the other independent YouTube channels become more popular, or whether someone gets into government and changes the law, we have some sort of cultural change. This is why I advocate, even though, Robert F. Kennedy, anyone who's going to be president, that they're going to, you can't avoid being on the stage and the platform and being popular. But I think that some people, like Marianne Williamson and like Robert F. Kennedy, are more, they understand that the excess in we should all be entitled to have nice things. but there is a certain excess that is bad for other people. You know, I think Marianne Williamson would advocate more things going into the community and local areas, for example. But, this is how these big parties control the masses, because all these, the concept of ITV and the BBC really is a Tory Conservative concept, and they might have tried to sell programmes to the Labour Party in the past, like Philip Schofield in the broom cupboard with a little tiny box, like someone's, like as if he's in someone's council house bedroom in a little tiny room, or a hidey hole under the staircase, like he's got no space, and all the drawings tacked on the wall. They're selling it to the working class, but it's all a facade. I don't like it, and I think that it is the cause of all the social problems, and Norton can pull that lever all he wants, he can jerk on that lever, he can fasten it to a jackhammer if he wants, for all I care, but, he can put his own balls in the chair and pull the lever on his own testicles, because the way that it's going with the sperm count and with the diabetes and cancer, he might as well pull that lever on his own chair, because he's cancelling himself. And, by the time he's finished, it'll be an audience full of clapping androids. It will be Stepford presenters by the time we've finished.